call this meeting to order. May 3rd, 2022 at 6:34. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor Mahoney,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ott,
Here.
Trustee Cohen,
Here.
Trustee Jeffrey,
Here.
Trustee Kovenchik, Trustee White,
Here.
Trustee Westcott.
I'm here.
All right, we have a quorum. All right, do we have a approval of the agenda? Do we have a motion?
Second.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Jeffrey,
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ott,
Yes.
Trustee White,
Yes.
Trustee Westcott,
Yes.
Trustee Cohen,
Yes.
Carries. And no public comments? Okay. Move on the consent agenda. On tonight's consent agenda is a payment approval report in the amount of $154,632.07, as well as the April 19th, 2022 minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Westcott,
Yes.
Trustee Jeffrey,
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney,
Yes.
Trustee Cohen,
Yes.
Trustee White,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ott.
Yes.
And motion carries. All right, at this time, we will, time is now 6:36, and we will adjourn as the Lochbuie Board of Trustees and convene as the Lochbuie Liquor Licensing Authority. First item is the preliminary hearing for renewal with Lochbuie Liquors.
Thank you, Mayor. For the record, this is Maureen Duran. If you recall, the Lochbuie Liquors with a licensed established address at 100 West Weld County Road 37 is up for renewal in June, and it was brought to your attention as the authority that there had been a violation of the liquor laws, an alleged violation in the fall, and that had been preceded by a warning to the same employee of the establishment. And when we informed the authority of that, you agreed to set this for a preliminary hearing and a show cause hearing to show cause why the license should be renewed or should not be renewed. It's a double negative, but that's what it is. And so I have had an opportunity to speak with the registered manager of the licensee, Debbie Dingle, is that correct? Dingus, who's here with us tonight. We have together conferred about the matter and reached an agreement to settle the matter, and I sent you a draft of that settlement. Ultimately, this is an agreement between her and me. However, you're ultimately the authority deciding whether or not you want to approve that settlement. What it essentially says is that the board has some concerns about how the licensee is operating, in that there was service of a visibly intoxicated person at least twice during the fall, or twice is the allegation. What we're suggesting that the board approve is that she would be mandated to ensure that all the employees at the licensed establishment go and have what's called TIPS, or certified server training, within the next 60 days. So they'd have to pay for that training, and all the employees would have to attend that training, and they would provide proof to the town clerk that in fact that training happened. Now, because this license is up for renewal in June, if you do approve this tonight, we would go ahead and issue or set this for a renewal hearing at the next meeting, because we haven't had a renewal decision by you yet, and we don't have it on the agenda tonight for action to renew the license, because I didn't know what you would do with the stipulation. But because we would still have that license renewal come up before that 60-day period that they have to train all their employees. But you should know that if, in fact, they fail to comply with that condition, that would be a violation of the renewal, and we could come right back in for another show cause hearing and determine whether or not that license should continue. So those are the basics of the stipulation that's before you. I think you've got a 3-page document. I sent a draft out to all of you in your email. I have copies here if any of you would like to see it. And the licensee representative is here tonight to speak to the board.
I mean, state your name and address for the record.
One.
Did you have anything you wanted to?
The only thing that I would request is there has been training. The person involved, when she was given a warning, she did not relay that to me, and I didn't hear anything from the police department as well that there had been a warning issued. So when she got the tickets, I did come to her court date. I heard nothing there about there being a warning to her. She paid the fine, and as far as I knew, that's all there was. So then when my license comes up for renewal, that's when I find out that she'd had a warning and a ticket. So I'm just asking you if there is any way that we could change that, because if this is left up to my employees to tell me that they got a warning, I'm not gonna know. And I'll be blindsided like I was again. So other than that, that's all I have to say. I have no problem with going to the TIPS class, and I'm already trying to get into a class. I was going to go to Brighton, but Brighton has their person has retired, and they will not have that position filled within 60 days. So I am now looking for other places to go.
Thank you. Anyone have any? Trustee White?
Yes. Will you hit your button, please? Thank you. Nope, one more time. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure I understood. So you are the owner? You're the manager. So do you know, was the owner or anyone other than the employee notified about the warning?
No,
Just the employee?
as far as I know, the employee was.
And that warning is given as that event is happening, right? Like as she's employed working as a cashier. Okay, thank you.
But I was not there when it happened.
Right.
And not told that.
Right. And do we know, as a town, do we have a policy when a violation is made? Is there any requirement for us to inform the business owner?
There's no requirement. I think moving forward, one of the things, and I explained this already to Ms. Dingus, is that we're going to strive to do as a town is just get on these things a little more quickly, so that when and if the police have an observation that involves a violation of the liquor laws, that the town clerk, who's really your licensing administrator, is informed of that right away. And so we can handle these things more quickly. And then I think that'll take this sort of element of surprise, I guess, that Ms. Dingus has been describing to you away.
Anything else? Trustee Ott?
No, nothing, thanks.
Trustee Jeffrey?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for being there tonight, Ms. Dingus. I appreciate hearing your side of the story. I believe that you understand the safety concern that we all feel as stewards of our town and wanting to make sure everybody's safe. And I appreciate that you're acting with haste to figure out where TIPS training can occur. Thank you.
All right. Trustee Westcott?
I just want to clarify, is it all employees who are going through the training?
It requires all employees to go through the training. And as new employees come on board, we would recommend that they go through the training as well. I mean, recognizing that this is the livelihood of these licensees, you know, important to them to not have these violations and have their license on the line as well. So
Yes, my only other question was, is you mentioned that there's a problem with doing it in Brighton, but you feel confident that you're going to be able to get everyone through a course in 60 days?
I'm hoping so, yes. Is that
there's plenty of even private contractors out there who provide server training, and TIPS is a good program. It's state certified. We're only looking for any state certified program. Heather has indicated she might have some information on some programs as well, and we both committed to talk to Ms. Dingus about that, what we can find out. So.
Those are my questions. Thank you.
All right, trustee Cohen?
I don't have anything to add. Thank you.
And I don't have any questions. I just want to follow up and reiterate what trustee Jeffrey was saying. You know, that's our job. We got to make sure that, you know, these things are safe, and it's for your safety as well. I mean, so. All right. And with that,
So, Mayor, what we need now is a motion to approve the stipulation agreement and order as presented. And if so, it will go part of the record on the licensee's file. And she'll obviously be under this obligation within 60 days to comply with that requirement.
go ahead.
okay? My question is, the license is due the renewal is due in June. And when will I know whether or not it will be renewed or not? I mean, because within 60 days, that's,
So we're going to set that on the agenda for May 17th, the renewal of the license, and you'll know that evening.
okay. Okay. Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Have something.
And again, I just want to
Go ahead, Dave.
emphasize while we're here and on the record that you still have, even though the license might be renewed on May 17th, you still have 60 days from today to have you and all your employees trained. And if you fail to meet that condition, then that's a condition of your license being renewed. And so they could ask for another show cause and potentially suspend or revoke your license. So it's really critical that you do comply with that condition.
Back on the 17th. When we come back on the 17th, I would like to have some information from her that she has at least started to obtain the training as part of the stipulation. Is that okay?
I think that makes sense. And so what you could do is a motion to approve this stipulation with the condition that she appear on May 17th and show progress towards meeting that requirement.
Okay.
Would I need to appear, or could I just come to the clerk and show whatever?
Trustee Ott, if she has presented proof that she's scheduled for the hearing before, or the training before then to the clerk, and we could provide that proof, are you comfortable with that? Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, I move to approve the stipulation between the town of Lochbuie and Lochbuie Liquors with the stipulation that training be started before the next hearing on the 17th of May.
Point of order.
And just for clarification,
Schedule,
you're
yeah.
just looking for progress towards the training being completed. It doesn't necessarily need to be completed, but at least scheduled.
Yes, just scheduled.
Okay. Thank you.
Should that not state that it's between the Lochbuie Liquor Licensing Authority and Lochbuie Liquors?
I thought that's what Trustee Ott made a motion for, to approve the you can just make a motion to approve the stipulation agreement and order as presented
Okay.
with one amendment, and that is that the licensee is required to provide proof before May 17th that the training is at least scheduled.
I move to approve the stipulation between Lockwood Liquor Licensing Authority and Lockwood Liquors with the amendment that we have scheduled, training has been scheduled before the next hearing on the 17th of May.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee White,
Yes.
Trustee Westcott,
Yes.
Trustee Jeffrey,
yes.
Trustee Cohen,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ott,
Aye.
Mayor Mahoney.
Yes, and motion carries. Thank you. All right, now we'll move on to the liquor licensing renewal for the Sandbox Bar and Grill. Clerk like to take that?
So this is just the yearly license renewal for the Sandbox Bar and Grill. They turned in all their fees, the form on time. And this would be an example of a license since there were no violations or anything. If our ordinance was adopted, it would not come to you. So it's just a straightforward one. So, but we're still waiting for the 30 days. So
Okay, and with that, I'll open the floor for testimony. Nobody's here. Anybody have anything they want to say? Questions, comments? No. Right.
I make a motion to approve the liquor license renewal for the Sandbox Bar and Grill.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Cohen,
Yes.
Trustee White,
Yes.
Trustee Jeffrey,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ott,
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney,
Yes,
Trustee Westcott.
Yes.
and motion carries. And we will now adjourn as the Lockwood Liquor Licensing Authority and reconvene as the town board at 6:51. And the next item is the action item of appointment of a town board representative of the Southeast Weld County Chamber of Commerce, which I had already said that I would, if no one had any issue with it, I would go ahead and take that on. So I made the meeting last week and it was quite well attended. Quite a few people there, so, and we had Chief and Brian were both there with me, so. So if anyone has no issues, if somebody would, somebody want to nominate me, say.
I nominate Mayor Mahoney to be the town's representative on the Southeast Weld County Chamber of Commerce.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? I didn't think anybody would oppose it. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Yeah. Worked hard. Well, I've been getting them anyway. So. All right, next item is mayor and trustee comments. Trustee Jeffrey.
Hello, everybody. My surgery went well. I'm excited that we're going to have some conversations coming up about library things. I continue to enjoy being part of that library board. I do find it a challenge to finish library board and get to DRCOG, but I am doing my best to do both. They happen to meet the same night. So if anybody is dying to really dig into all of the things that are going on with DRCOG, which is a lot of them, please let me know. We can add that as an action item for our next meeting or a meeting or two down the road. There is a lot going on there. I do hope to have a little bit more of a report from DRCOG for you guys next time.
Thank you. And next, trustee White.
I don't even know. Excuse me. I'm not even sure if I should say this now or just wait. Everything that we talked about.
Well, I think it's worthwhile to update the board and let them know that we're gonna bring an agenda item back at a later date. I think that would be good for folks to know.
Okay, so I had met with Chief and Carrie right towards the end of her run as code enforcement officer. And during that time, there were some plans to have, a bigwig from DR Horton out, and we were supposed to be getting some momentum on some cleanup that's been long overdue, about 3 years overdue since construction was last done on that north side of the development. And that all seems to have fallen apart. So that led me to reach out and want to learn what the process is for when the complaints are made, how those are handled within the enforcement department, even the follow-up, such as like all the construction we have now, the silt fencing. I know some of you drove in like I did from Silver Peaks, and you could see both sides of the sidewalks are just filled with sand from the silt fencing. The dust mitigation is not happening. Nature happens, and if that's the case, then I'm wondering, do we have processes in place where if it's a natural event, then you need to come do this more quickly, 3-day, 5-day window, or our normal check-ins once a month? I mean, just a lot of questions that nobody could answer for me. So I am trying to get to the bottom of that and really find out what we can do as a board to try to help maintain the beauty of our town as it's growing so fast. I feel like I'm a little taken back that there are so many things that seem to be abandoned and unaddressed within the town limits as far as construction debris. And we're allowing the same landowners to sell the land to the same developers, and those same developers to profit and start digging down the road, meanwhile leaving their trash there. And what I've discovered based off of photos and things I'm going to send over today, right here in Bella Vista, there's like an old, right as you're going into the neighborhood, you take that left into the neighborhood coming from here, right? And you go left into Bella Vista, and then you take that straight to where it dead ends and it L's to the right. There's a bunch of abandoned things there, like a shed that has fallen over, big engine, 2 big pieces that had to have some electric at some point, cement. I actually went and saw that yesterday because I had purchased something, and someone in the Bella Vista neighborhood told me her kids have almost gotten seriously injured there, and that's what had brought it to my attention. And I went, looked at it with my husband, who does reclamation for a living, and from satellite images, that's been there since 2005. I don't know who owns that land, who's responsible for that land, and how it's just getting overlooked. But moving forward, I would like to have some policies in place that's ensuring that these corporations are cleaning up their mess and they're treating our community with the same pride and ownership that we have as being town residents. So hoping to have that on a future agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Ott?
Just a shout out to Public Works for getting the road open ahead of schedule. That was a nice thing to hear. There was a lot of discussion on the Lockbuoy face page as to whether it would ever get open, and that was quashed immediately. Find out what's going on with that.
All right. Trustee Westcott?
The first thing I just wanted to sort of get some clarification on is that, I guess, if we can get, it doesn't have to be tonight, an update on the widening of CR2, the final phase of that. I'd like to hear about that. I noticed on my drive to work the last couple of days that there's a sign up that says that they're going to be doing lane shifts on the 4th of May, and I was curious as to what that was and why and how long that's going to be. So an update on that as well. Okay. And then mine is much smaller, and I had emailed you previously just about the tumbleweed issue right now. And for some reason, I have it in my head that at some time in the past, we had some sort of a tumbleweed cleanup where people, am I just imagining that? Anybody else remember that? I don't know. Anyway, if we could offer something like that, like sort of like a Christmas tree thing, you know how some communities do that, come dump your Christmas trees. I think that could be, they're just all over the place right now, and it's really ugly and a mess, and yeah.
The only idea we thought of so far is matches, but we're working on that with, so we're checking to see if there are other options.
Around my property.
I
my
just got a
porch.
brand new flamethrower.
Yeah.
Trustee Cohen?
The only comment I have is trustee Jeffrey, I'm happy to see that you made it through your surgery just fine. It's good to see you. And thank you, Mayor Mahoney, for bailing me out of the Chamber of Commerce thing.
I'm glad to do it. I haven't sat with those guys for a long time. As a matter of fact, when I showed up there, majority of them were like, "Oh, where have you been?" Yeah. Oh, I'm like, yeah. But I'm excited, well, for a lot of things that are coming up. I know everybody remembers it coming up as the safety day. Unfortunately, I won't be there as I got an appointment at Children's, so, or I should say I do, Batman does. So, and then later that afternoon, I'm gonna go have fun, but with that anyway, we will go ahead and move on to the exec session. So, and do we have a motion?
I move to approve, move into executive session pursuant to CRS 24-6-402, parens 4, parens E, for determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and instructing negotiators on a possible intergovernmental agreement with the Hudson Library District.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mayor Mahoney,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ott,
Yes.
Trustee Cohen,
Yes.
Trustee Westcott,
Yes.
Trustee Jeffrey,
Yes.
thanks, and Trustee White.
Yes.
All right, motion carries, and we'll take a little 5-minute pause.
And for this evening's executive session, we're going to launch a fresh Zoom meeting. So trustee Jeffrey, you should have a link for that, and we will fire that up momentarily.